Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Ferry Project Cookery School, and we're going to be making a winter warming dish, or several dishes, 3 dishes in fact today, to make a sort of a complete meal. While we're just waiting for other people to join, I'll just remind you about the Ferry Project. We are a homeless charity based in Wisbeach, and we work with homeless people around Fenland, run cookery classes, teaching them life skills here at the hostel, where we have our cookery school and our kitchen, but we also work with the community, and we join up with other bodies to run cookery classes. So we've got things like wallet free, one pot cooking, and so on. We also write cookery books. We have YouTube videos. So if you want to see more, just go to our website, ferryproject.org.uk, and then you can find more information out. But this afternoon, we are going to be making a warming beef dish with mushrooms. We're going to be serving it with a mash of celeriac and parsley and potato, and we're going to do just some peas and lettuce dish to go on the side of that as well. So I'm going to start with the beef dish and get that going. And mash, because I have already cooked off the vegetables for the mash, which is sitting here nice and hot. So if I was doing this myself from scratch, I would probably start with the mash and get the vegetables cooking. But because it's just quicker and slicker, I've got the vegetables ready, and I will show you that as we get there. So the first job we need to do is prep the vegetables. So into this, and you can play around with this recipe, you can put all sorts of different ingredients in, depending on what you've got in your fridge, what season it is. So I'm using mushrooms because I just think they're really wholesome and warming, and they go really well with beef. But I'm also going to put in some garlic, some onions, some carrot, and I've already got somebody's beautifully chopped this for me actually, so that will go in. I'm doing it in a wok. I love woks. Woks are so good to cook in because they've got lovely high size, so you can give it a really good stir around. They get hot really quickly, and they're just big, so you can get plenty in there. So I love using a wok for things. So what we're going to do first is just chop up some garlic. So top and tail it. Take off that pink skin on the outside. You can crush it through a garlic crusher. Oh, that just hit me in the eye. And just chop it up really finely. As I say, if you put it through a crusher, or if you've got one of those flat things, you can rub it on a bit more surface area. I'm just going to chop it up. Oh, it smells lovely. Love the smell of garlic. So I'll just get that in the pan. I've already turned my pan on, so it's getting a little bit hot. I'm just going to turn it up another notch. Get it sizzling. Onion, dicing an onion. So I'm topping the tail end. Let's get rid of that skin. So cut the stalk end off. I leave the root end on, and I peel. And then I can dice it really finely. So I'll put it flat. And then if you just, I've left the root end on deliberately because it holds the onion together while I dice. This is quite a little onion, so it won't take much slicing. If I had a big onion, I'd probably do more slices across. And then this way, using the point of my knife to cut down, still leaving that root end on there, because it's going to hold it together. And then I'm just going to go sideways, and I can get a nice fine dice. If I wanted a chunky dice, I'd just do bigger cuts. So we'll just cut that up to the root, and then just trim around it, and we'll get that in the pan. And I've got some here done. I'll put the carrot in. Dice the carrot fairly finely because it's quite a fast cooking dish, so we want to make sure the carrot cooks through. So we just dice it, so cutting it into strips like so, and again, and then we're just going to go sideways to get that fine dice. Okay, let me get that in the pan. Right, let's whack up the heat and get that really sizzling. Right, we'll come back to that. Mushrooms. So I've got some mushrooms here. As I say, one of the brilliant people that works here with me has cut up for me. But I'll just show you. So this is a chestnut mushroom. It doesn't matter, you can use any mushroom. I like chestnut mushrooms. They sort of give it that darker, earthier, wintry feel about it. I've just pulled a bit of peel off to show you. You can peel them, but you don't need to. Peel's perfectly fine. Just give them a good clean. You don't want any soil on them. And you can use the stalk. Don't throw the stalk away. Use it. Just chop it up. And then diced mushroom, we just go along sideways and then turn it round, bunch it up together and do it again. And then we'll put that in my pan as well. It's starting to sizzle quite well. That's good. And get that warm through. And then we'll get the rest of the mushrooms in. Just want the carrot to start softening, the onion, just to start softening down. So that'll just take a couple of minutes. Just soften it down like that. And then what we're going to do is add in some of this beef. So we've got strips of beef in there. Nice strips like that. I just bought the really thin slices of steak. So they're not that expensive. You can make it go quite a long way round with all the mushrooms and vegetables. And you could reduce the meat even more to reduce the cost and add in other things like cannellini beans, black beans. Black beans would be really nice in it, actually, just to eke out. So you're still getting your protein, but you're not having to spend a huge amount on meat. Right, that's sizzling nicely. So I'm going to add in the beef. Get that just pan frying off. You could do this with chicken if you wanted to. You could even do it with minced beef as well. It's just that I wanted the chunky texture of it. We'll just sear that off, and then I'm going to add in all those mushrooms. Turn my other ring on. Yeah. Right, I'm going to get these mushrooms in. Nice little mushrooms. They will cook down a bit. Get that sizzling off, so the mushrooms are just starting to take on that heat now. Make sure the carrots are down in the bottom, so I want them to absorb some of the stock I'm going to put in a minute. So they can soften off. Add some of their sweetness in. So I'm going to put a little bit of tomato puree in, just to help the body of the dish. So I'm just going to give it, about a tablespoon. A good squirt from the tube. Give that a little stir. See what I mean about using woks? It's great because you've got so much space in there. Obviously, you have to be a bit more careful with your liquid levels when you use a wok because you can evaporate more off. So you just have to look at managing it and adding a little bit more liquid if you need to. But on the other side of that, it's really good for reducing down if you need to get rid of it. It's quite fast. Right, so that's sizzling nicely. I'm going to add a little bit of beef stock in there as well. And I'm also going to add in a little bit of this stuff. I love using this stuff. You can find it in most supermarkets. Just adds a real depth and richness to dishes. It's really lovely in stews, in pies, that sort of thing. So it's called mushroom ketchup. And they used to use it a lot, actually, in Victorian times. So I've used it quite a lot in sort of dishes I used to make for the National Trust. But yeah, just a quick couple of tablespoons, probably not even that, into your dish gives it that depth of flavour. So I'm bubbling away nice, and I'm just going to turn it down because I want all that liquid to help cook through. So that's that in there. I'm going to add some thyme as well. There's fresh thyme in there. And there, we just picked that from our herb patch earlier on. You could use dried, you could use other herbs that you might have in your garden. parsley, for example. Just so if you've got a really woody stick, just run your thumbs down the woody stick and that will pull off those little leaves. If it's a really thin stem, then you don't need to, you can just put the whole stem in. Right, so that's going to be cooking nicely now. So while that's having a little simmer away there, I am going to talk mash. So I absolutely love celeriac, and I've got some over here. So this is half a celeriac. So imagine that's the whole round thing. Really strange looking vegetable, but absolutely delicious to use. You have to use it fairly quickly. I've had this standing down because it can go brown quite quickly. And it's got these funny sort of humps and bumps and all over it. So all I've done is cut it in half because I have actually got some vegetables I've cooked and drained here for the mash. But I wanted to show you celeriac. Really, really versatile vegetable. You can eat it cooked or raw. So it mashes down beautifully. So I'm mashing it up into all that parsnip and potato to make a good mixture of autumn vegetables, wintry vegetables, lots of flavour. But you can also use it raw. So I've used it before grated, so in celeriac remoulade, for example, but also I've used it where I've finely diced it and mixed it into winter salads and done sort of a vinaigrette. You do need to cover it, it needs a barrier because otherwise it will go brown, or cook it. Put it into tray bakes, roast it with lots of other vegetables. So I'm just cutting off top and the bottom, and then you just peel off this sort of almost woody outside that it has. Take that off, and then it's quite easy to cut. It's softer than something like a Swede, for example. Just cut it into chunks. Smells lovely. It's got a lovely sort of almost oniony, celery type smell to it. You can see it's quite solid. And then just dice it up and put it in with your potato and parsnip. And then just cook it as you normally would for making a mash, like so, and then we'll boil it. And I have already done that, so I'm going to show you how I'm going to mash it. So I'm going to use this a bit later on, so I'm just going to move these out of the way. Obviously chop it up with a parsnip as well. If you had swede or carrot or anything like that, you could put that in the mash as well. So I'm just going to move this out of the way. And I'm going to show you my mash. And so I've just boiled up potato, parsnip and celeriac. And I'm just going to mash it down. So I'm going to season it quite well. And plenty of pepper. Salt, with seasoning. I'm going to add in some more thyme. Turn that one on. So that's mashing down beautifully. And celeriac goes really soft. A little bit of butter. And a little bit of cream. So I'm using cream. You don't have to use cream. You could use some milk. I'm just being a bit treating everybody today. When we finish with these dishes, then we tend to offer them out for the clients, and because it's cold, it's just what they need. So mash that up. So it's really soft. If you have something like a potato ricer, you could push it through a potato ricer to get a really smooth finish. I'm really going to bash it out a bit. Get really soft. I really want it to soak up all the juices from that beef dish, which is cooking really well here. And into here I'm also going to put some thyme as well. So we've got the thyme theme running all the way through the dish. I'm just running my thumbs down there into there. So that's pretty much my mash done. It's really smooth. Obviously, you could make this even richer. You could add in a little bit of grated cheddar as well. I think we've got enough richness really and everything else. Right, so that's my mash done. My beef is cooking away nicely. So the last dish that I need to do is my vegetables to go alongside it. And I'm just going to move my beef out of the way so I can get to my vegetables. So this dish basically is called peas à la française. So it's peas cooked in stock with a little bit of lettuce. So here are my ingredients. So I'm using a frying pan. Just making sure that's making sense. And I've got a little bit of very finely diced onion. So I'm going to fry some of that up. A little bit of really crushed garlic to get some flavour in there as well. That going. So I actually love this. Peas à la française. I use it quite a lot. If we do pop-up restaurants and things, it's just a really nice, easy side dish to have along with a whole load of different things. Bangers and mash nights, pie nights, all those sorts of things. So I've got some lettuce here. I'm using gem lettuce just because we had some gem lettuce for something else that we're doing. And I'm just going to shred up a few of those leaves, but you can use whatever lettuce you've got. You could also put in lots of herbs. You could mix in rocket, watercress, those sorts of things. Whatever you've got in your fridge, or you might be growing in your garden at other times of the year. When you can hear that sizzling, just soften down that garlic and that onion. And of course you could, if you wanted to just do mash and the beef, you could actually just fling a handful of peas into the beef, and then you've got those in there. I love peas, especially in the winter. It just gives that lovely sweet burst of flavour. So I'm going to add in my peas, because they're frozen peas. They're going to cool that pan down quite a lot. Just get those warming through. So I have a little bit of vegetable stock. For a little bit of a sauce, get those peas going, and I'm going to add in this lettuce. I'm just going to get this warming up a bit. Get that simmering nicely. It's bubbling away nicely now. And we'll put this lettuce in. I'm using lettuce. I mean, you could use the shredded cabbage as well if you wanted another real wintry vegetable in there, or some greens. Right, we'll give it some more seasoning. I'm not going to put any more salt in there. Stock is quite salty, so it'll be enough stock in there. Okay, so we're nearly ready for plating up. I'm just going to move this out of the way. And the beef's just going to have another couple of things added to it to just finish it off. I'm going to have a little taste. This bit of cooking. Well, that's lovely. Right, so I'm a bit obsessed with white plates, but this made me think of winter and Christmas is coming and made it feel warming. So we're going to plate it up on here. So just the last few bits to go in the beef. I'm making it quite sort of slightly extravagant because I just want a shininess on that sauce. I'm going to turn that off now. So I'm just going to add in a little bit of butter just to give it a glossy finish. You don't have to do that. You don't need to add any butter if you don't want to. So we're going to start with some potatoes and celeriac mash. I'm going to put some potato on the bottom of the plate with our base. Then we're going to put a little bit of the pea and the lettuce on the top. Look at those colours, aren't they gorgeous? And then we're just going to finish with some of the beef on the top of the mushroom. Like so, let's put a little bit of sauce on it as well. And I'm going to finish it with a sprinkling of parmesan. And put a little bit of parsley. I might just go with the thyme as we use thyme all the way through. And I'll put a sprig of that on the top, like so. So that is the finished dish. So we've got a plate with some lovely celeriac parsnip creamy mash and the peas just gently cooked in stock with a little bit of lettuce and with the beef strips cooked with carrot and mushroom, really enriching with that mushroom ketchup. So a lovely winter warming dish. So thank you for watching. I can't wait to go and taste this now. If you want to see more of what we do, if you go on our website, fairyproject.org.uk, we run all sorts of classes. We run ticketed classes. Sunday we spent making Christmas cakes with 11 lovely people that came and spent the day with us. We do all sorts of things like marmalade making, meat-free classes, chocolate days, pop-ups, and so on. And our videos are also on our website, and follow us on social media and you can see everything that we're up to and keep up to date. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you.